Honorable Duale. We'll now start off with members asking you some questions. Try to be concise and precise in the answers in the interest of time. We'll start with the Deputy Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Duale, you will recall that during COP27, the President made it clear that Kenya's biggest export would be carbon credits, and asked for a simple and transparent system of ensuring that people can access these market systems, and not just the intermediaries, but also down to the local people. If approved, how are you going to ensure that this carbon trading trickles down right to the small communities? And in connection to that, on the 22nd of December 2022, the government launched the African Landscape Restoration Initiative. It pledged to the world that it would plant 15 billion trees by 2032. That is 15 billion trees in 10 years. That, if my calculation is correct, it's 4 million trees a day. If approved, what measures will you put in place to ensure that you don't let down the President and achieve this ambitious project? Thank you.
Go ahead.
Carbon credit, carbon markets, carbon trading, carbon offsets. These are very key fundamental terminologies within the reading of the climate change. And this August House, Mr. Speaker, last year amended the Climate Change Act. To be more precise, in September, just before we had the Africa Climate Summit. Two, our President is currently the chairman of heads of state and government of the Climate Summit in Africa. Carbon credit or carbon market is very, very important to our communities. Our communities, mainly in the ASAL, play a very, very big role. Companies abroad in the developed world who are responsible for the emission of the greenhouse gas, which in our case, our contribution is only 0.3%. While we only contribute 0.3%, on the flip side, we're the biggest victims, we're the vulnerables. So these companies, whether they're in the oil exploration, whether they're in the airline industry, they pollute the outer atmosphere. And they get involved in carbon trading and carbon market. Carbon market is just where you provide a mechanism, an infrastructure where both the private and the public sector engage in that. So to the question of Honorable Deputy Speaker, that amendment that this House did created a very robust legislation where the role of the community, particularly inland carbon projects. And I'll give an example in the northern Kenya, the so-called Northern Rangeland Trust. Before communities were evicted from those lands, before this law, there was cultural disruption by these project proponents. Before this law, because there was a lacuna, there was no even register for the carbon markets. Today, I want to report that the law this House has passed give communities 40% of whatever carbon markets resources are received from the developed world. Today, NEMA as an organization is a custodian of the register. A company cannot just come into our country and go to our forested areas, can go to our rangelands and enter into an agreement with the project implementers. The community has a role, the community has a percentage, and even in that same amendment law, you created the element of the offenses. That today in our country, if you commit certain crimes, even money laundering in carbon credit business, falsification, not involving the communities, then you need to have to play. So I want to assure, if this committee approves me, that my mantra will be public participation, public consultation at the community level. Communities will have a role. On the second most important element is the restoration program that has been started by the President of the Republic of Kenya in December, where we said we must restore our rangelands, where we are going to plant 15 billion trees, restore also our forest, because currently our forest cover is 12.13%. And we anticipate that by 2032, we must reach 30%, from 12.1 to 30%